Sometimes a good plot twist or reveal can save a movie, something unexpected that happens towards the end which often changes what we thought we knew about the story can be jaw-dropping, like Darth Vader being Luke's father in Empire Strikes Back, or Tyler and the narrator being one and the same in Fight Club. These twists impact the audience so much that they redefine their respective films, both of which crack the IMDb top 15 movies of all time. However, sometimes what's intended to be a game-changing plot twist in the story would actually work better if they came at the beginning of the movie. Whether it be a new power or ability a character has, a villain who's come onto the scene over an hour into the film, or the revelation of someone's true intentions, some twists carry either too little weight to work as a big plot twist, or have too much story potential to be wasted as a big revelation just put into the film for shock value. There will be massive spoilers ahead for all the films involved, so watch at your own risk. I am Kirsten from What Culture, and these are 10 major movie reveals that should have come at the beginning.
But before we begin, I just want to give a quick shout out to today's list sponsor, Destroy All Humans. Now, are you a fan of sci-fi movies and TV shows? Of course you are, so why not check out this glorious remake of the PlayStation classic, which not only lets you, as the name suggests, destroy all humans in a ridiculous number of cathartic and chaotic ways, but has added in tons of new content, including ideas and areas that didn't make it into the original. I have genuinely not been able to put it down. I mean, how could I say no to blowing up the White House and pretty much everything else that wasn't nailed down? The sheer carnage. It's delightful. And the best part about all of this is that the game is out now for PC, Xbox One and PS4, as is my review that's been put on whatculture.com, which you can go and read. And trust me, it is a game that has stolen my heart as much as I've been stealing brains and Furon DNA in the title itself. And that is a lot.
Number 10, Spider-Man 3: Venom. When writer/director Sam Raimi originally pitched his idea for a third Spider-Man film, he only wanted to include two villains, Sandman and the new Green Goblin. However, due to the character's popularity, the studio forced Raimi to include a third villain, Venom. Raimi reluctantly shoehorned the character into the script, featuring the character's evil alter ego in only one scene. While Spider-Man 3 would have been better off without Venom, leaving him until the end didn't work either. Venom comes to be when Peter Parker's mysterious black goo leaks off of his suit and onto his rival Eddie Brock, played by Topher Grace, a great actor who was horribly miscast. As such, Spider-Man and Venom only fight once, in a final battle which also features both other villains. By giving him only one scene at the end, Raimi makes the Venom plotline feel pointless. Had Venom swung into the film earlier and had more screen time, fans and critics might have been kinder to the ultimate wasted subplot. But still, in a perfect world, Venom does not appear in this movie. Number 9, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, The Necromancer. When the studio split The Hobbit, a fun kids' adventure book, into 3 films, each trying to be like Lord of the Rings, they had to add in some subplots. One such addition follows Gandalf when he leaves Thorin and co. investigating the mysterious Necromancer. When he finally finds the Necromancer, he discovers, to the surprise of literally no one, that the villain is actually Sauron. In Tolkien lore, Gandalf had always left Bilbo's side to search for Sauron. It was never a secret, so betraying it as such falls flat. The biggest surprise in The Desolation of Smaug wasn't Sauron's return as the Necromancer figure, it was the filmmakers thought that the audiences wouldn't figure out the Necromancer's true identity right away. If Gandalf had been open about searching for Sauron from the start, his plotline would have been more compelling, and wouldn't have ended with a wasted reveal. Number 8, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, Black Canary's powers. Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, or Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, whatever you want to call it, easily outclasses the rest of the DCEU. However, one late in the game reveal would have allowed the film to soar even higher if it were a constant presence throughout the movie. Though advertised as a superhero movie, the only character to have any real superpower is Dinah Lance, aka Black Canary. Played by Journey Smollett-Bell, she has the ability to emit a hypersonic scream, stopping enemies in their tracks. Despite having this great power, she only uses it once in the film. Black Canary is involved in a number of action scenes, yet doesn't use her powers until the final act. If she were to use her powers in smaller doses during her other fights, she doesn't lose her badass moment at the end and gets to displaying her awesome powers more often. Dinah is an incredibly powerful character, so her superhuman abilities deserved more screen time. Number 7, Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace, double-bladed lightsaber. The Phantom Menace has its issues, but its villain's weapon isn't one of them. Back in 1999, the fanciest lightsaber to grace a Star Wars film was Luke's Return of the Jedi lightsaber, since it was green, not the traditional blue or red. Darth Maul's lightsaber, however, opened a new realm of possibilities, since it had one blade on each side. When Maul actually uses his double-bladed lightsaber, he gives us the best scene in the movie by default, an epic sword fight against Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. However, that's the only scene to feature both sides of the lightsaber active at once. In the earlier scene, Maul takes on Qui-Gon but only uses one side of his sword. Why not utilise its one-of-a-kind feature here too? The two-sided lightsaber appears in the Phantom Menace trailer, so it doesn't work as a grand reveal towards the end. In-universe, there's no reason for Maul to not use both sides of his lightsaber against Qui-Gon, and it would have made his first fight with Qui-Gon less drab. Number 6, Jumanji The Next Level, Milo is dying. The sequel to Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, Jumanji The Next Level, aka 2Manji, introduces two new characters to the existing group. Spencer's grandfather Eddie and his old business partner Milo. Eddie and Milo don't get along since they sold their restaurants, but their journey together allows them to make amends. However, only once they're far into the game do we learn the reason Milo reached out to Eddie in the first place. He doesn't have much time left to live, and wants to leave his friend on a positive note. The reveal works less well when it's not Milo telling Eddie he's terminally ill, but their in-game avatars. By the nature of the world of Jumanji, the characters' true forms don't get nearly as much screen time as their Jumanji skins, so the reveal should have come at the beginning of the film. That way, Milo has the opportunity to be candid with Eddie one last time, rather than Ming Fleetfoot and Cyclone the horse sharing that tender moment. Number 5, Logan, X-24. In Logan, the final Wolverine film, Charles Xavier thinks he's having a nice moment with the title character before he brings out his famous claws and stabs Charles in the chest. Right then, we learn that this is not Logan, but X-24, a clone created by Dr. Rice sent to hunt them down. Charles' death scene is the first appearance of X-24, and despite the scene being beautifully written and acted by Sir Patrick Stewart, it falls flat as the introduction of the film's heavy. X-24 is not the main focus of his first scene. The death of a character audiences have loved and followed for 17 years is. If X-24 appeared or was even discussed before making his grand entrance, he would have had a proper introductory scene. Plus, believing that Charles may not be talking to Logan would change how fans watch the scene. When the audience believes he is talking to Logan, the scene comes across as beautiful until it ends in shock value. However, if the audience knew a Wolverine clone existed before this scene, it could put them on edge, which might improve an already great film. Number 4, Captain America The First Avenger, S.H.I.E.L.D. Captain America The First Avenger opens up with the title character being discovered frozen in ice, preserved for over 60 years. The film then spends the remainder of its runtime following Steve Rogers' adventure during World War II, before one final scene where the frozen Steve wakes up to discover that he's in 2012, and S.H.I.E.L.D. has fought him out in order to have him join the Avengers. If the scene took place in the beginning of the film, it would have acted as a nice framing device throughout. Steve coming to as he slowly remembers his past would have both set up his future in the MCU, while also establishing his origins as Captain America. In spacing out its present-day sequences, Captain America The First Avenger also does not ignore its opening scene. Watching the film as is easy to forget the image of Steve frozen in ice that the filmmakers deemed important enough to use as the movie's opening scene. The revelation of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s involvement from the start would have helped with this movie's pacing, as well as the broader connections to the MCU it wanted. Number 3, Star Wars Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker, Kylo Ren redeemed. Star Wars Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker could have gone a few different routes with the character of Kylo Ren. They could have kept him as the big bad of the trilogy, had him work with Rey to bring balance to the Force, or, as they ultimately chose, redeem him. Like his grandfather before him, Ben Solo sees the light towards the end of the film and helps the Jedi defeat Palpatine, which costs him his life. However, that storyline already happened in Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi. Darth Vader already saw the light towards the end of the film, turning on Palpatine to save the Jedi character and giving his life in the process. So if Disney insisted on turning Kylo Ren too, they should have done it much earlier in the movie. This gives Kylo's arc some distinction from Vader's, plus it would give us more time with Jedi Ben Solo and less time watching Kylo go further into the darkness before an awkward redemption. Number 2, Star Wars Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker, Rey's new lightsaber. Another moment in Rise of Skywalker's final act, which should have happened in its first act, is the revelation of Rey's new lightsaber. In Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi, Rey and KYLO destroy the Skywalker's lightsaber, teasing a possibility of a new lightsaber for Rey in Episode 9. However, the filmmakers ultimately decided on the least satisfying new lightsaber possible, an old lightsaber. Rey repairs the Skywalker blade and uses the same old blue sword throughout the film. To make matters worse, they introduce a much cooler lightsaber in the literal final moments of the Star Wars saga. As Rey buries Luke and Leia's lightsabers, they reveal her own for the first and only time. We see a unique yellow blade made from her signature staff. Rey should have used this new lightsaber from the beginning. Not only would it stand out as the only yellow lightsaber in the main saga, it would have opened up new possibilities in the Star Wars universe, rather than sticking with the same old object from the original film. There's no reason for The Rise of Skywalker not to showcase Rey's new weapon for more than a split second. Number 1. Glass, Ellie's true motivations. M. Night Shyamalan became famous for his twist endings, but some of his plot twists would make for more interesting movies than revelations. Take his most recent film, Glass. The film follows the characters from Unbreakable and Split, David Dunn, Mr. Glass, and The Horde, as Dr. Ellie Staple tries to convince them that they don't have powers. However, the film reveals after the deaths of the protagonists that Ellie was never trying to help the powered people, and that she was part of an organization to suppress superhuman abilities. Following Ellie's organization from the start would make for a much more interesting movie than Glass. Establishing this organization in more detail allows for a dichotomy around Ellie's beliefs about powers and the more traditional superhero movie philosophy. It may even cause some audience members to sympathize with this organization. Leaving it for a twist reveal wastes so much potential for a better story. At this point, Shyamalan should capitalize on his reputation, making the absence of a big twist his next film's big twist. And there we go, the 10 major movie reveals that should have come at the beginning. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. But for now, I have been Kirsten Ria from What Culture, and I'll see you in the next video.